What is up, everybody? Hope you're doing well today. Today's video, back in a minute, I'm Darwin. I work in the real estate industry. I'm also a corporate sales trainer for a real estate investment firm. So I work with a lot of the, let's not call them all young, but the up and coming people in the business. And I train them how to work within our systems, get leads, get deals done, and make some money. So I started making these videos because there's so much BS out there in terms of courses, guys on late night television trying to sell you stuff, 4 payments of $99.99, and you can be like me and we can hang out in Hawaii with luau girls coming out our ears, right? Bullshit. So what I'm doing, these are real world videos. This is the same training you would get in our office. Today is one of my favorite subjects, which is closing 101. Following up, I did another little video about lead generation, which is something we also touch on a lot, how to find deals. Take a look at that. This is the second part, okay? So this is great stuff on its own. If you want to go back and look at the other lead generation video first, it'll kind of give you some background as to where we are. But this is the fun part, right? Closing leads 101. This is Glenn Gary, Glenn Ross, sell me this pen, Jordan Belfort. Go watch Wolf of Wall Street, he's awesome. This is not going to be quite like that. I'm not going to be, doing drugs and throwing things across the room, as much fun as that would be. It's also illegal. But we are going to talk about some classical methods that I use all the time, our guys use all the time, and we have a pretty solid track record of revenue to keep up with it. So anyway, let's get you to where you can't close a door until you can close a deal, right? Because that's the way most people come into our office. All right, so closing 101. Good stuff. Oh, also losing my hair a little bit, fairly self-conscious. Please don't make fun of me any more than you have to. I appreciate it. Anyway, so let's get to it, right? Closing 101. This is going to assume that we've got some leads in front of us, or we have some people that you've talked to that might want to do a deal, okay? So the first thing that screws everybody up is you get too excited because you've been working hard and you find that first lead. In sales, sorry everybody, this is just what we call it. You get too excited and you fuck up a deal. We call it stepping on your dick, okay? You get in there, you're like, oh boy, a sale! You killed it. Great scene from Tommy Boy, Chris Farley, My Precious Little Pet. I killed it. Definitely take a look at that one to give you an idea, right? So the first thing I tell everybody to do to start being able to handle a deal is just take a breath, calm down, In our office, typically, everyone's had, 4 or 5 Red Bulls. I drink a lot of coffee, as you could probably tell. So we're a fairly high revving crowd, but take a deep breath, calm down, and just chill a second. We're gonna get this deal done. So bear with me, all right? So there's 5 rules, really, that I use for selling, okay? First off, my sales Bible, I talked about this in another video about reading lists, but it's right down here. If you can't read that title, it says, You Can't Teach a Kid to Ride a Bike at a Seminar. It's an amazing book with a god-awful title. David Sandler is no longer with us, unfortunately, but definitely take a read. So there's 5 rules to selling, right? The first one, and every sales trainer out there that I've talked to in other offices hates me for saying this, but qualify your prospect, okay? What does that mean in the real estate investing world? It means, is this person ready to sell their house? Can they sell it? Is there any equity to get it sold? Are they going to cooperate with you, or are they going to be a giant pain in your ass and you make no money, okay? So step 1 is qualifying. I'm a little quicker on the trigger than a lot of people because I look at a lot of deals. We have a high volume office, so I'm very quick to say, that deal sucks, that person's never going to work with us, get the fuck out of my office, okay? It's going to save you a lot of time and headache. Nobody likes to have what we call happy ears, right? Like, oh, I got all these deals and they're almost about to close. Yeah, and they're almost about to pay you too. Let me know if you can pay your rent with almost. So step 1, you qualify your prospect, all right? Is this person ready, willing, and able to do a deal with you? And I don't care if you're investing in real estate or you're selling widgets, right? You gotta make sure that they're ready, willing, and able to get a deal done with you, all right? The second thing is that they have to have some type of pain, okay? And I'm not talking like physical pain. I don't mean take your pencil and stab them in the neck to get them to sell your house. The house has to have become a burden. There has to be some type of pain point there that you need to figure out what it is. Establish a pain point that selling this house or selling this property or somehow doing a deal with you is going to solve, okay? So that's step 2. You have to see if there's any pain there. Step 3 in sales is verifying that the prospect has the money, right? Got to bring the money, no honey. That's the way the world works. In our case, it's not necessarily always money, it can be equity in the home, right? So if the home's worth 200 grand and they bought it back in the day when housing prices were crazy and they owe 300,000 on their mortgage, deal's dead. I don't care how motivated they are, they can show up to your house wearing an Easter Bunny costume with a bag of Snickers bars. Can't get the deal done, man. Sorry, bank's in the way. Good luck. Call them up. Maybe you can get a loan on. All right? Step 4. Figure out who you're talking to and if they have the ability to make a decision, right? If the home is owned by dad and you're talking to a 5-year-old child on the phone, you're not going to get the deal done. And that might sound silly, but I can't tell you how many calls I've listened to from our call centers where they're literally talking to a 4th grader about selling a piece of real estate owned by their grandparents. There went some marketing money out the window. Bye, moi, au revoir. So, step 5, we've got one word here. It's like that dating site that I guess old people use. Match your service to the prospect's pain, okay? You're playing Match.com right here. Your house is being a pain in your butt. It's causing you pain. I'm gonna buy that house. You're gonna get some money. You're gonna ride off into the sunset. It's a beautiful world we live in, right? So, those 5 things represent what you're going to do to get a deal closed, okay? So we're going to back up a second and we're going to touch on some other stuff. So you've got your 5 rules of selling. In fact, if you want to Google it's called the Sandler Sales Funnel, right? It's this really cool, well, kind of a cheesy drawing actually. It's drawn by a Muppet, but you can get one off the internet, print it out, put it by your desk, and even if you don't invest in real estate, if you're just looking for some sales guidance, this will really help you, I promise. So Sandler Sales Funnel. It's going to give you these 5 rules and this neat little drawing. You can figure it out, okay? These last 3 things right here, so we've got 1, 2, 3. These are 3 techniques that I've pulled from some other reading that I've done that I teach all the guys in our office, and they work very, very well, okay? First one is the rule of 2 to 1. What does this mean? What is 2 to 1? 2 to 1 is questions to answers. Q&A, right? This is basic conversational skills. What this means is that if you're on the phone with a prospect, meaning someone who wants to sell their house or do some other type of deal, you need to be asking twice as many questions as running your pie hole. Let me repeat that. 2x the questions to 1x running your yapper, okay? And the reason we do that is that questions put the other person in theoretical control of the conversation, right? So you're going to ask them questions, you're going to actively listen to their answers, it's going to give you information to where you know how to get the deal done, right? This is basic stuff. Everyone's favorite subject, themselves, right? It's human nature. So 2 to 1 questions and answers, right? So whether you're doing this on the phone, whether you're in somebody's living room, talking to them about their house, taking a look at it, petting the cat, saying hi to the grandkids, whatever it is you need to do, 2 to 1, burn that ratio into your brain. If they ask you for an answer, give it to them, and then ask them 2 questions. I don't care what they are. What's your favorite color? Don't care. What's the cat's name? But keep asking them questions to keep the conversation focused on that, all right? The second one, this is a little bit more useful for our guys on the phone. This is where I started off, was talking on the phone to sellers all day long. Get a timer, okay? Get on Google, find a free timer for your computer, or use a stopwatch, or maybe even your phone. But being able to accurately judge time within a conversation is very, very valuable in terms of sales, okay? So conversations have a way of ebbing and flowing naturally, but if you can make small alterations to the conversation, you are really gonna kick some ass in this position, okay? So a timer, which brings me to the third one that I use all the time with great success, and this is a calculated pause, okay? This works for sales, it also works for negotiating and a handful of other things, but what it is that when someone says something or asks something, when you're getting down to the nitty-gritty of getting a deal done, you're gonna pause for a given number of seconds, and you're going to give them silence. So for example, if you and I were talking about the price of your home, and you told me the price that you needed to get for the home, and I wanted to pay less, my response is typically 8 to 10 seconds of silence. Now, that doesn't sound like a lot, but if I stop here and I pause for 10 full seconds, you will probably quit watching this video because Awkward as fuck. But it works very well in conversation. That was maybe 4 or 5 seconds, right? A little weird. But these 3 things right here, combined with these 5 rules, will get you really far down the road to closing a lead, okay? So quick little real world example. Person calls in the other day, hey, I've got some property, I inherited from my dad, I need to sell it. Okay, great. Can you tell me your name? So what did I do? I had a piece of information. First thing I responded with was a question, all right? Okay, great. Let's call this guy Adam. Hey, Adam, glad to know you're doing well today. Can you tell me a little bit about the property? How long have you had it? 2 questions to 1 answer, right? And we repeat this process, okay? So we established a few facts right off the bat. I qualified him, meaning he had inherited this property. There was no mortgage. His dad had worked his whole life and paid it off. And he really wanted to sell it because it was a long way from him. It's a multi-family property. It's also in a very bad part of town. So it represents a giant screaming pain in his ass, and he wants to get rid of it. Great. Rules 1 and 2 knocked out in the first 30 seconds of the conversation. Boom, we're rolling, okay? In this case, money, easy peasy, right? Dude's got tons of equity, the property's free and clear, we're good to go. So he's on title. The other part, when you're getting a decision maker, is who all is on title of this piece of property. Turns out that this guy, Adam, has 2 sisters. We'll call them Jane and Sue. I don't really know their names, but all 3 of them are on title, so there's 3 decision makers. And then what we did to get this deal done is that we confirmed with Adam that we were able to purchase this property and take away his pain. Our service, meaning we can buy this dilapidated piece of shit that has been neglected for 5 years and is full of trailers and meth whores and all types of terrible creatures of the desert. We're able to give him cold hard cash, take it over, he can split it up with his sisters and ride off into the sunset. Boom, right? Pretty easy stuff. So again, going back, this is how you get leads closed in the real estate business, okay? And there's a ton of different methodologies. Some people will say, I've got this system, I got that system. This is one that I have tried over and over again. It's been used in 9 different real estate markets, what we call MSAs here in the United States. So that's a metropolitan statistical area. We've tried it in 9 different MSAs. It's worked every time. We've tried it with new property. We've tried it with old property. We've tried it with young people and older people. We've tried it with all different socioeconomic and racial backgrounds, and it works, okay? It really does. I wouldn't be standing here if it didn't because I'd be fired, all right? So again, running through this real quick, closing 101, is that first off, 2 to 1. Take a breath, don't get too excited, don't step on your dick. You're gonna feel like an idiot because you're gonna fumble this and they're gonna hang up the phone. Bye. Or they're gonna kick you out of the living room, which is even more awkward. Trust me on that one. So 2 to 1, you're gonna ask questions. You're gonna keep a timer on you somehow, right? Be discreet about it. Don't sit with someone and be like, 1, 2, 3. Okay, you ready to answer now? Fuck off. You killed it. Get out. Go back to Starbucks. You're gonna use some calculated pauses in the conversation. And you're gonna do that to give the other person a chance to interject, right? That's all you're going to do, is give them a chance to keep talking about themselves. You're going to give them a chance to keep talking about their pain, and then you're going to ask the correct questions to match your service, which is purchasing homes or whatever else it is you do to solve that pain. That's all it is. So, if you're in this business, let's say you're just getting started, let's say you've been at it for years. Usually where I see people fall down, where I fall down, right? I've made a lot of these mistakes. I spend way too much time with unqualified Muppets, right? Not enough equity in the home, they're not the decision maker, they lie, right? They're like, oh no, I'm the only one on title. It turns out the whole family's there and the dog, right? Is that you spend a lot of time with unqualified prospects. The other part, and this is just a natural sales thing, think about the last time you went to buy a car. Were you honest with the sales guy? I wasn't, right? And I do this for a living. So whatever they tell you the problem is never really the problem, all right? They say, oh, the house is a lot. Maybe they've got back taxes. Maybe they are on a city list for a code violation. The weeds are too high in the yard. Maybe there's been a death in the family and the income levels have dropped. Whatever they tell you right off the bat, not true, okay? So it's usually these two things where people wind up wasting most of their time. And wasting time is just unprofitable. Why the hell would you want to do that? If you just want to talk to people all day, there's plenty of spots to volunteer, but that's not how this business works, okay? So really concentrate on these first two, qualifying the prospects and figuring out what their pain is. Obviously, you're gonna have to learn how to comp properties, meaning do comparable analysis to see if there's any money, right? Any equity. So watch this, because later on in this game, when you go to sell this deal, if you have calculated this improperly, you can close all the deals you want, but you're never going to be able to sell them to anyone else, meaning you're never going to make any money. Again, I'm not here to volunteer. I don't know what you like to do. The rest of this stuff, again, is just rinse and repeat. So follow these rules. This is very basic stuff. We're going to get into some more esoteric and kind of some, one-liners and how to pivot and how to do all this on another video series. We call that, Closing 202 or something like that. But this is a very basic, broad overview. Follow these 5 rules, learn how to ask questions and gather information, get a timer, learn how to pause in a conversation and not seem like a psycho, and I guarantee you will start closing more leads, okay? So that's plenty to do. Go pick up a copy of this book, read it a bunch. If you got questions, throw them in the comments section. I am happy to answer everything I can. Again, please respect, I've got rental properties and a full-time job. But throw them in the comments if you need. Subscribe if you'd like to. I'd really appreciate it. Lets me know I'm doing some good for the world. And go get some work done. We'll see you next time. Appreciate it.